Hi guys, welcome back to Wildflower and Twine. Today we're baking my best ever 3-ingredient rustic loaf. Super crunchy on the outside, super soft and fluffy on the inside. Yum. First we're going to start by combining our active starter and water in a mixing bowl. And then once that's mixed in really well, you can add your flour and salt. I like to tare my scales at every step just so I know I'm getting an accurate measurement. Now mix through your flour and salt. This part can sometimes trick you into thinking that your dough is too dry, but trust the process, everything will come together soon enough. There is a little bit of science behind the water-flour ratios, depending on your flour's protein levels. So this recipe is based off an 11.5 to 11.7% protein-rich flour, because that's the most common flour that I can buy in my local supermarkets, and I want to try and make things as easy as possible. Scrape down the edges of your bowl and give your dough a gentle knead to bring everything into the center. 20 to 30 seconds should do it. Then cover your bowl and rest for 1 hour. Because I'm using a glass dish with a lid, I find it really helpful to use a whiteboard marker to track my steps. Now we're going to start playing with the dough, starting with some stretch and folds, then moving on to coil folds. With wet hands, I like to move the dough away from the edge of the bowl, then pull up one side of the dough as much as I can without tearing it, and then setting it down toward the opposite side. Then repeat that another 3 times, turning your bowl 1/4 rotation every time. If your dough starts sticking to your hands again through the process, just slightly wet them again. You'll notice changes in your dough at every step. Here I can tell that the gluten is really starting to take hold, as the dough feels stiffer than it did at my first set of stretch and folds. Now let's move on to our coil folds. This is where your dough will really start to expand. With lightly wet hands, gently lift your dough from the center and try to coil the front section underneath, then do the same to the back section. Rotate your bowl and repeat the process. It can sometimes take a little manipulation, but your dough can handle it. Do this another 3 times with an hour's rest in between each set. I don't know if you do it, but a little jiggle has become an essential step in my bread making process now. We're coming to the end of our dough working process, and I can tell everything is going well because the dough has almost doubled in size, and when I lift it, it feels pillowy and soft. While your dough is resting, prepare your banneton by lining it with a tea towel and dusting it with some superfine rice flour. This glutinous rice flour is available in most Australian supermarkets now. If you don't have a banneton basket, just find a bowl of similar shape and size. It will work just fine. When I first started making sourdough, this next part felt so hard, and all the videos I was watching separated the final steps so much that it looks super complicated. I hope that these visual markers will make your journey feel less overwhelming. Lightly wet your hands again and start your coil folds. This time, however, when you turn your bowl, you're going to complete the coil fold on your bench. Grab your favourite dough scraper in one hand and lightly wet your fingertips on the other. With a kind of push-pull sweeping motion, gently shape your dough into a ball until no creases or folds can be seen. Use your slightly wet hand as a guide and to help you move the dough back to its original spot, but other than that, your dough scraper should do all the work. You'll know when it's done when you can start to feel some tension and there are no creases to be seen. Now it's time to give your dough its final shape. Lightly dust the top and surrounding edges of your bench with the same flour you used in your dough. With your dough scraper and a dry hand, flip your dough so the floured side is down. Now the side that is up is sticky and we want to keep it that way. Without degassing the dough too much, stretch it out a little, then take the bottom and fold it up 1/3, then do the same to the top. Now turn your burrito-shaped dough so it's vertically in front of you. And start from the top and roll it down using a little bit of pressure to stretch the dough as you roll. Using your dough scraper, lift your dough from the bench and flip it before placing into your banneton. Now seal up any folds or seams you can see on your loaf, then give it a good dust with rice flour and cover it up before resting in the fridge overnight. It's the next morning and we're ready to bake. I can tell my dough is ready by the poke test. After poking, the dough slowly springs back, but the indent doesn't completely go away. I've had my oven preheating with my Dutch oven inside for about 30 minutes now, so it's time to score and get our loaf in. Rub off any excess rice flour. While doing this, you are also giving it a nice even coating so that your scoring will show up better after baking. I know that the wheat sprigs are pretty standard for these types of loaves, but you can really do whatever you like, or nothing at all for the pretty part of scoring. I love these simple star-shaped flowers. They look fancy, but they are super simple. The expansion score is necessary though. If you don't do this, your loaf will come out looking like a volcano. But you don't have to strictly do this on the side. You could also just cut one big cross on the top. Oh my goodness, how pretty does that look? Now, resist the urge to cut into it straight away. This is always the hardest part for me. Letting your loaf completely cool down before cutting into it is actually the final part of the cooking process. If you cut into it too early, you'll let all the steam out and your loaf will become sticky and gummy. I have to say, I'm pretty happy with that. It's an almost perfect loaf, but the true test is in the taste. I cooked this one the following day for my daughter, and it was even better. That's the thing with these rustic loaves. You can do the same thing over and over again, but get slightly different results. They will always be 100 times better than anything you can get at the store though, because your two hands created it. I hope you found this video easy to follow and it's inspired you to get your bread hands to work. Let me know in the comments what sourdough goodie you'd like to see next. And don't forget to like this video if it helped you in any way. Have a great day guys, and we'll see you again in the next video.